introduce our speaker, our star of the day. You know, he's kind of like when you look up in the sky and there's all these stars, there's that one that's shining brighter than all the other ones. That's our Reverend Mark. He's been a supporter of our center probably since day one, and so we're so happy to have him here. So let's welcome him, Reverend Mark.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Wow, it's good to be back on the island, although I have to say, could we turn the heat up a little bit here? I don't remember it ever being this cold. I love rain because water is life. It really is. You know, part of the time I live in the desert, and you can really appreciate water, you know, when you don't have any over there. So it's, to me, water is life, and I love that it rains. But I'm like, this morning I said, Lorene, can I take your sweater? I'm going to take, this is really cold for me. So, but that's just the way Hawaii is. And we have water, so we got to call that good. That's what I call it, good. Now, I have to say, Joan, that title I've had to wrap my hand around 4 times. I'm like, what is that? Is that a misprint? What are they saying? Because our theme is, that's how we've never done it. And I thought, what the heck does that mean? I said, who wrote this? Who wrote this silly thing? Anyway, and then it was, your talk is about up until now, and I thought, that's another brain twister. What does that mean? Well, what I think it means is that up until now is telling us that now is the only place that we have creation, co-creation. The truth is we have a little, what Hawaiians call kalohi, little imp on the side, that is always telling us what you think you know. And it always compares to 30 years ago you did this, and that means that it means this now, which is totally inaccurate, but it keeps us out of the now. So the real challenge for my life is to stay in the now. And at my age, I'm always thinking, okay, now, now, now. And for all you new people that are here for the very first time, congratulations, you got here. And this really, to me, is not a church. It is a center for spiritual living. When I started this, I went to every church there was. I was the biggest church hopper you ever saw. I went to every church, and went to this, and the Catholic church, and went to this church, because I was thinking there must be something that I can hear that makes sense to me. And every time a church would say, us and them, I knew it wasn't for me, because it was a judgment. And every religion I went to was that same way. And I thought, I gave up. I said, God, I don't know. They all want to divide everybody into little groups and judge them, each one. This person's bad, or that one's got the wrong thing, or they're going to hell. And then I went to a center for spiritual living. It was then called religious science. And I thought, well, I don't know why I'd ever go to that. I'm not religious, and I don't like science that much. But there is a power inside of each of us that I call the higher self or the Holy Spirit. It's within you, but you have to listen. You have to get quiet and say, okay, I can hear all this chattering stuff that's trying to keep me distracted, but what is it I need to know here? And if you start to breathe in a certain way, where you pull on the inhale and you just let go on the exhale, letting your whole body and your whole consciousness know that you're not being approached by some tiger or something, you can finally get to that point where you just don't hear anything and you just go, I need to know what I need to do in this situation. And ask. Jesus said that 300 times in the Bible. That should be some clue to us. You know, we can't assume, we must ask within. Because the other voice, the kalohi, the little imp that's there, is always telling you what you should think. Always divide. Let's judge this. Let's judge that. Let's judge this. What I do is treat it as a 2-year-old that has no clue about what reality is in the moment. So I just go, thank you for sharing. And then I go over here and I go, okay, Holy Spirit, what do we need to do here? And then I wait. And sometimes I wait for a long time, and I think, are you there, or are you busy, or what? You know? But it always comes to me in a form mostly through a voice that I hear. But then there are times where something happens that looks like a coincidence, and it's not. It's exactly what I needed to know in that moment. And so I listen to that voice more than any other voice. I don't listen to anything else. How many of you have what I call the committee upstairs in your brains? Well, I'm in the right church, right center for sure. Yeah, I fire them all the time. I keep firing them. They're kind of like, you know, the apprentice. They just keep coming back. They say, oh, well, we know about this. What I've learned is at my age that I learned a lot of things in my life that work. And we need to do those things that work until they don't. The same thing you've done over and over and over again, one day it's not going to work. And you think, well, that worked so many times for 20 years, it should work for me. And when it doesn't work, it'll never work again. And the definition of insanity is to keep doing it over and over until you think, maybe this isn't going to get the result I want. So it's ultimately we start to listen to the higher self or the Holy Spirit, if you want to get religious. If I listen to the Holy Spirit, and it tells me no lies. It never lies. Now, it'll tell me things that challenge me for sure. It gave me a vision. What was it? Last year, it gave me this complete vision of a new house here in Hawaii. And I thought, what? I was saying, do you know how old I am? This is like crazy. Do you really want to do this? And it said, it's all prepared, it's all done. And I said, no, it isn't. I have to think about it. And then what it said was, no, you don't. God's got your back. That's all you need to know. And I would think, yeah, but I have to manage it. No, you don't. I thought, well, what about control? Can I do that? No, you can't. So that was really a big aha, because I thought, I don't know how that's going to get done. Good. You stay out of the way. That's the Holy Spirit. Ultimately, we put limitations on everything we do. God is everywhere saying, you can have anything you want in your life. You can have love, you can have a partner, you can have money. And we're like, no, I can't. I've got to be humble. No, you don't. You need to have exactly what you want to have. And God's willing to have you have those things as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. If it doesn't hurt anybody else and everybody wins, go for it. Go for it. And you don't have to outline for God. I used to do that as a therapist. I was always like, oh, I got to fix this person. Well, I finally, after so many years, thought, I can't fix anybody. I think I'll just fix me. Why do I keep attracting all these people that have all these things? It's because they were a part of me that I needed fixing. Most therapists won't tell you that. They're working on themselves through you. I always think, well, that's kind of interesting. I don't know why we're charging here. I'm actually getting healed. It's kind of funny. So anyway, that's how we've never done it is a good title to me now, because I think, okay, all right. Yes, there are things where, when I first came to the island 30-some years ago, I got in real estate. So immediately, that part of me came available to tell me all about what needs to be happening on the lot that I purchased and all this stuff. And I go like, shut up. That's so all the information. I mean, it's just, there's nothing that's really there. It helps. The basic outline is there, but the details have changed a lot. And that's what you're going to notice. And every limitation you place on yourself is not really God. It's that what I call the ego or the id. It's just basically telling you, I want to keep you safe, so just stay in this little mold. Stay there. And so up until now means now is the only moment we really have, and they're all strung together in what's called the future. And you can give God the idea, or you can ask for an idea. Why not just ask? I did not know that I was going to be back here living on the island. And I kept thinking, this place resonates with me. How many people feel that? Yeah, that's why you're here. And it resonates because it's not the people. That's part of it. It's the Aina. The Hawaiians know this. It is the energy of the land. Whew. Whew. I can feel it. And it resonates with me. And I don't know if it resonates with everybody else, but it resonates with me. And I kept telling my partner, okay, this desert trip's kind of fun. It's kind of weird, coyotes and bobcats and weird stuff. But I said, I'm still a Hawaiian at heart. How many of you knew when you came here you're going to live here? I'm talking to the choir. You guys are all me. It's the same thing. See, I know you're all part of me. That's why I love to speak up here, because I just see each of you as just a part of me, and that there's some fun parts, and then there's some that want to tell me all about it, and that's okay too. I've had that part too. But I think the thing we have to realize is we have to release the past and give it to the higher self and just say, I don't know, but I'm willing to see what you have planned for me. I also am what I call a hybrid minister. I studied and went to ministerial school for science of mind, which basically tells you the same thing I learned at the first Center for Spiritual Living, which was called religious science, is that your thoughts are creating your reality right now. And when you're thinking those thoughts, they're creating a form somewhere. And you can cancel those thoughts by saying, oh, I don't want to do that. And how many of you, have said, I'd like to have more income flowing into my life. And then you go, but my parents really didn't do that, so maybe I should be loyal to them. Don't be loyal. You don't have to live their lives. You must live your own. You got some really good things from your parents. They taught you, you're still here, so that means they taught you to survive. And you as parents back there, you guys, that's what you're teaching them. Like, don't touch that hot stove, it'll burn you. You learn these things, and it's really good. However, you have to also teach them to be creative. God is in your imagination. We're living in a very strange time where a lot of children don't develop their imagination because they're on TikTok or something, watching something, and it's all given to them, so there's no effort put out. And it's a strange thing because it creates division. And I just don't know how they can problem solve at this point, because the world is a place where we get the opportunity to solve some problems for ourselves. The one thing we got to do is, with our past, we need to acknowledge our past. We have done some dumb things. I have, absolutely. And we've done things that just don't work, and we keep doing them until we finally go, that doesn't work, I'm just going to let it go. A great example of that was Maddie this morning. I brought her a mic that I had, because I was the West Hawaii spiritual leader over there for many years, and I brought her my mic, and she said, this thing's like a little old, isn't it? And I thought, it's because the wiring was complete. This is Hawaii, I forgot totally. She goes like, this is kind of like falling apart. I said, throw it away. I just realized that's 23 years old. Are you kidding me? No wonder. So thank you for getting that. That was so funny. Yeah, that's probably not going to work, is it? So some of the old things that we have, let them go. Give them up. They don't work. That's my theme, is like, if it doesn't work, don't do it. If it's fun and joyful, move in that one direction. That sounds like a Pollyanna, but hey, it works. Because then you're feeling satisfied. And I think one thing that I learned as a practitioner is this. I must always see the truth of you when I pray for you. No matter if you see it or not, it's irrelevant. Because I want to hear how you set that up in your brain. And then what I want to do is see that it's unwound, and to see the way that Jesus actually said, see it as already done what they want rather than what they think their limitation is. And I think that's very important when you're creating, because we put up these limitations of, oh, I can't do this or I can't do that. Just like Joe was saying, when you say you can't do it, no, you don't want to do it. You've got to change your thought and change your life. We've got to say, I'm willing to do this, and I don't know how. How is an important aspect that you have to know is up to your higher intelligence. It's not up to you. Your job is to walk it out. Your job is to go and do the duty of looking at the details that need to be looked at. And then you just approach it from a positive, loving, proactive way. That helps everyone involved, especially when you're dealing with other people that may not be proactive. Sometimes it's a challenge. So one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about is, Ernest Holmes said this: life is a continual adjustment. There are 4 adjustments that we must make. The first is with ourself. How many of you take care of yourself last? I mean, it's a normal thing. It's a normal thing where everybody comes first. If you're a mother, you've done it. Because mothers, they always take care of their children first. And so one of the things that I know works is that the first person you must take care of is your perceptions of your own self. And because that's what everything radiates from. So as you work on loving yourself just the way you are and just the way you're not, it's okay, because then that emanates out in all of the different things that are going on. And so the first thing is yourself. The next one is your family, because they are your direct reflections that you get to look at. And sometimes you're going to have to forgive that aspect that you see that may be a partner or something, because that's a part of you that irritates you. My partner gets me to the point of what I call activation, where you're like, how do I get this across? I know none of you have that, but it's natural, because what I have to always remember is this: your partner was not raised in your family and has a whole different context of what their words mean. And it's a miracle when you communicate with each other that you actually understand what you're saying to each other. And that's why it may take 2 or 3 times to get through to somebody something that you think is very clear. How many people have that little thought? If you have a partner, just sit there. And if you don't have a partner, you just have to talk to yourself about it. You go like, I'm like, whatever, I don't know. I'm thinking this is what I should do, but maybe not. Give me a hint here. I'm always like, Holy Spirit, help! That's my prayer most of the time. I think I know something. We spend all this time in education and academia and learning these things and going to ministerial school and knowing all this stuff and everything, and then you get out and you're like, oh dear, this isn't what they taught me. I always wonder, I think, it'd be better not to do all that, but that's what we do. The third one is the most important one, is that we tend to, the Kalohi in us focuses on society and politics. Stay out of that. That is total illusion. It's a total illusion to keep you distracted from finding yourself. If you find yourself, you won't give it much credence, because if you notice, wherever you see the news feeds, they all have the same news, don't they? But they have very different opinions, appealing to that which make you feel like you're right. For me, I would much rather be over this direction, because I'm getting a direction over. Sorry. I would much rather be happy than right. So it's easier to be happier and just agree. Just go, okay, I'll think about it. My first thing, because my parents said, always question authority. Somebody's trying to have an authority over you. Always question it. So my first word is no, because it gives me some time to think about it, if I want to do it or not. How many of you said yes and then you're like, why did I say that? I'm sure there's a few here where you just say, I didn't want to do that. That's because you betrayed yourself, and you won't like it in the end. You'll do it out of resentment, and we can't hold any grievances If we hold grievances, they go into symptomatics in your body. Your mind is the determiner of your body. So all the thoughts you've had are in your body. They're there. But so don't, we have medicine that's fixing symptoms. That's like putting a Band-Aid over an artery. There's no point to it. The point is, for me, is to find out what is the cause of this particular symptom. Now, I ask my body, and if I don't get any answer from anybody, then I go to those white coat people. But they don't always have answers. I don't know how many times I've heard, well, we don't know. I'm like, what do I pay you for? Anyway, the truth of it is, the inner physician will tell you exactly what's going on. If you ask, all you have to do is go, what does this mean? What's going on with my knees? And it says you could stop eating so much. Maybe you have less weight on those knees. And I'm like, oh, no, I didn't want to hear that. Let's go get a pill. Ozempic, let's get that. The only problem is the side effects probably, the last one's always one they just whisper like death. You ever notice that? They're like, oh, you could get side effects like you go blind. Blind? No, just look lean? No thanks, I think I'll just stay where I am. So anyway, the last one, so the third is it's going to be a continual adjustment with society, because we live where change is the natural. It's just what it is. You can't, everything changes. And the fourth thing is the universe. How does the universe treat you? It treats me wonderfully because I listen to it. I listen to the universal voice, or the Holy Spirit, or the higher self, whatever you want to call it. Fred, I like that one. That's Fred. Fred. Or let George do it. I always like that one too. But, just ask. Ask for an answer, and then wait. Now, you may not get the voice of, angels and a trumpet and all that stuff. I don't get that either. But eventually, something will show up that looks like a coincidence. It's not. Honor it. If it's something that doesn't hurt anyone, and it empowers you to do what you need to do, step forward and walk it out. It will always lead you to satisfaction. The ego part of you that is the problem solver, but has no idea what it's doing, will always lead you to something that is not satisfying. It's seek but do not find. The Holy Spirit, or the higher self of you, says seek and you will find it, and you will feel happy about it, and you will feel joyful about it. So you have the choice. You can choose again. In the Course in Miracles, which I love to facilitate, I've learned, choose again, choose again, choose again. Keep choosing a thought that empowers you, a thought that gives you more life, a thought that you feel good about. Choose feeling good. If you're feeling really great about a decision, it's the right one. If you're really kind of, don't say yes, say no. But I'm willing to get back to you on that. That way you have the decision to make the choice if you really want to do it or not. And the universe will always reflect back to you exactly what you want. Sometimes it will look very different from what your form that you gave the universe, because I always say, higher self, this or something greater. I think I want this because that's the only thing I know. Or something greater I'm willing to experience. I can't tell you how many times, if I could tell you there's thousands of times, that the universe has given me something far greater than I even imagined, having no idea. Now that seems like a miracle, and it was to me for sure, but it's because I didn't try to tell God what to do. I just said, I think this is a great idea, but I don't know the details. You help me with that. You're the one that's the how-to guy. I'm just the one that goes and visualizes, I'm a dreamer. I love that song. Of course, you knew that. She played that song, I swear. Both of you guys played that for me. Because every time I think, if the world could just get that we're all connected. We are all connected. And each person that you have is an opportunity to either forgive or bless. Each person that you come in contact with is God's way of saying, if it activates you, it's okay. If it makes you upset, it's okay. All you have to do is give it to your higher self. Say, I don't know why I'm activated by this person, but it must be something inside of me that's activated, because I'm getting activated. And all I do is say, I don't understand, but I'm willing to accept this person as just expressing something that is bothering me. I'm willing to give it up to that. Usually those people just disappear after I've given it to God. If they're there for a long time, I think, oh, must need to really go deep on this one. So today, I invite each of you to be in the now. And it's hard to do because the ego's always blapping its little blap, 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 blap. The truth of it is, you don't need to judge anything because the judgments you make are only on yourself. There's really nobody out there except for reflections of each of us outside. If somebody really ticks you off, forgive it. Let it go. Give it to your higher self. Say, you know what? This person just torques me, and I can't deal with it, so I'm going to give it to you because I can't figure out what to do. They'll either disappear. I have a tool that I'll give you. I like the one that you give me. If you have somebody that just irritates the heck out of you all the time, bless them. Forgive them, bless them, and release them to their highest good. I've used this tool for patients for years, and they just disappear because you're not playing their game. They're like, well, this isn't fun. I wanted you to argue with me and tell me this and tell me that. I'm like, I bless you and forgive you. Now, I don't say it out loud. Otherwise, you'd really hook their ego, and they'll be like, argh. You don't want to do that. Just say it to yourself, I bless you, I forgive you, and I release you to your highest good. And you have to mean it, or else they'll still stay around. But otherwise, they just disappear off the planet. You go like, where'd they go? They just show up. So I challenge each of you to be in the moment, trust the process of life as it unfolds. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's dark. Sometimes it's glorious. If it's dark and messy, forgive yourself for creating the situation, move on, and ask the higher self of you to provide the next step for you. And it will be given you. It's never failed. You just sometimes have to wait. It seems like, when is this going to happen? It happens. It will happen. And it may not even, you may not recognize it because you have a form, a limit of how it should happen. You've got to let the limits go. And then God can go, look, you can have this. Like, wow, I wouldn't even have thought of that. So I trust that you all are absolutely blessed and that you come to this center to just learn to be in conscious of your thoughts, because every conscious thought you have is making a form at some level. You may not believe it at the first, but just watch, especially if you feel it. If you want something really bad, feel it. That's the secret. You can want a car and you can have the house you want. That's easy. However, if you don't feel it and feel it in your heart, it doesn't manifest. You may get the car, and then you have no gasoline in it. So the truth of it is, the feeling is the gasoline in the car that gets you going where you're going, or the electric if you guys are EV people. Probably are too. On this island, you should have an EV because there's no reason not to. But feeling is the secret to a manifestation that you desire. And you don't have to share it with everybody. It's between you and God. The more you share it, the more you dilute it. The more you just say, God, this is what I desire. I'm willing to have it, and I really feel it in my heart. It starts making the form. It will start giving you the people that you meet, the places to go, all the things that you need and are necessary. I really love all of you. You're welcome to come this afternoon at 12:30. What we're going to do is release some of the stress on the planet. So if that feels like it's you and you just go, oh yeah, I could do that. Please bring something to lay on, because this floor may be a little cool. But come this afternoon. We're just going to do some simple breathing, but it's amazing what God gave us with our breath. The Hawaiians have known it for years. Their huna is just all about breathing. So I discovered it many years ago. So you can come at 12:30. We will be doing a breathing session of about 45 minutes with some music, and basically you need to think of an intention that something's been bugging you for a long time and you'd like to let it go. Because this process has never failed for anyone. So if you have something that's really bugging you and it's been bugging you for years, bring it. Because the Holy Spirit will be in the room, guaranteed. So welcome if you come. Bring your mats, wear something natural, and be willing to release the intention. We're going to state the intentions of what you want in your life. Not what you don't want. We already know what that is. It's probably where you are. What you want in your life is more important. We need to focus on what do you want. That's all I got to say. Thank you.